Hello, and welcome to Guerrilla Cricket South Africa on One World Sports Radio, onewsr.com. We welcome you from wherever you are in the world for the second day of the second test, the New Year's test at the Wanderers in Johannesburg. Between South Africa and Sri Lanka. Lay of the land is that Sri Lanka were bowled out for 157, and South Africa, in their reply, are 148 for 1. Dean Algar on 92, Rassie van der Dussen on 40. My name is Mpho Mtlwane, and I'm joined by Ravi Nair, all the way from India, and Otto Simon. How are you doing, Ravi?
Not too well. My laptop has died, but at least I'm on here and able to speak to you. And able to see cricket.
And Otto, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. And you, Mpho? I'm very happy with the batting so far, except for Markram, of course. But as they said this morning, if 396 in Centurion couldn't save the Sri Lankans from an innings defeat, 157 all out doesn't look so good for them so far, except for Shanaka and Asita Fernando.
Yeah, no, I think Shanaka and Fernando have bowled quite well to the right-handers, but I think the plan today for South Africa, and I hope you agree with me on this, is to bat till 1 million. It'll take
Absolutely,
us just bat them into the ground. Otto,
South Africa could look to be batting till lunch tomorrow, really. At least.
Yes. Take as much. Give everybody an opportunity to get a milestone. Get runs under the belt on your way to Pakistan. Otto, I'm going to be relying on you to do ball by ball.
I will do.
Sure. So you just need to let me know when you are ready to go.
Okay.
Yes, obviously Dean Algar starting on 92. Rassie van der Dussen had a slow start. He was vilified by many and a lot of the super sport guys, but he managed to get his 40 of 82. Very good innings from him, and I liked it because that's the type of innings the South Africans have been missing throughout the past 2 years.
I saw your tweet yesterday as well, Mpho. The South African fans just need to calm down, take a deep breath, and count to 10. You don't drop a guy for one bad innings. That's all I have to say about that. Ravi, you wanted to
Unless
say?
it's Bjorn Hendricks. He might drop after one bad innings. Sorry,
maybe ODIs. Maybe ODIs is a bit different, but certainly not Test cricket. They're ready to start play here. It looks like Vishwa Fernando, the left arm seamer, is going to open the bowling for Sri Lanka this morning from the golf course and bowling to the left-handed Dean Algar with 2 slips and a gully in place. He goes now to Algar, who defends outside off stump to point, and there is no run. Once again, they've got packed offside field, and that's the plan for Sri Lanka. They've got a mid-on, mid-off, extra cover and a point, and then they've got a mid-on and a mid-wicket, sort of in a, you could say, just off the square. As Fernando bowls his second ball, 148 for 1. This one is left alone outside the off stump through to the keeper and no run. We'll get the boundary fielders for you in a moment. And welcome to all our listeners wherever you are in the world. Please tweet us and follow us on our YouTube channel where you can catch some cool podcasts in between the live broadcasts as well.
Yes, Otto, that is very true. We've got some football podcasts that will be starting up this week, local, South African, and also one that focuses on the Premier League. And yeah.
Fernando in again here to Dean Algar, left alone outside off stump. Now, I'm enjoying the football podcasts because I don't watch football because then I'd be in front of my TV watching sports all day, every day. So I enjoy the condensed version that I get from the 1WSR podcasts and all the informative guests that you have on there as well.
That's good to know.
I don't enjoy the football podcast because I'm a Spurs fan and there's nothing to do.
We actually have a Spurs fan on as a regular on our show as well, and he's
that
enjoying
last one. blocked by Algar, wide-ish outside off, but it was full, so he just blocked it into the ground, into the covers for no run. 148 for 1, South Africa trailed by 9.
Yes, but we are also a Chelsea support group this morning. So if you're a Chelsea fan and want to talk about your team, please do tweet us and let us know what changes need to be made.
Is it
Vishwa
Chelsea
Fernando
support group
into
sort of
Algar,
group?
this line on off stump, and he blocks this to mid-on, and they go through for a quick single. And the first run of the day for Dean Algar, he's on 93 of 124. Score moves on to 149 for 1. Rassie van der Dussen will face, he's on 40 of 82. Vishwa Fernando will bowl his last ball of his 11th over, having conceded 40 runs.
Yes, Ravi, you mentioned something about the Chelsea.
Is the Chelsea support group supposed to be for mental health support for Chelsea fans or something?
Yes, that too. After what happened last night, they need all the support they can get.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So if I see
football too seriously.
if I see somebody in a Chelsea supporters jersey today, I can point and laugh.
Well, you'd be taking your life in your hands, but yeah, sure.
Vishwa Fernando into Rassie van der Dussen, and this one is left alone as it goes across the right-hander to the keeper for no run. That's the end of the first over on day 2 of the second test. 149 for 1.
We have a tweet from Chris Drew, hashtag wear a mask, hashtag wash your hands, at Mez Nilman. He says, Mez Nilman, it says, Ravi, with your Pelferman 1414. Good to see you on my screen. He tagged the UK Guerrilla Cricket, but realized that he had to tag us. So thankful for that. So Ravi's got some fans. So if you are a fan of Ravi as well, please
and
do.
is in France, actually, so we're spreading around the world, which is good.
That's good.
Oui, très bien.
And because the Australians don't want to have a New Year's test like the rest of us, we are the only test match going on right now, so which is good.
Is New Zealand versus Pakistan on?
It is, but it's because of the time difference that the day has ended, so we just carry on. There's like an hour and a half break without any test cricket, which is hurtful to some of us.
Asita Fernando from the call it drive end is going over the wicket, right-handed to the left-handed Dean Algar. This one on middle, fended off his chest by Algar, and they go through for a single to square leg. 150 up for South Africa.
It's still very baffling that Sri Lanka really struggled to bowl to the right-hander. To the left-handers, even though they have a barrage of left-handers that they're bowling to in the nets.
Yes.
Go, Ravi.
I think it's because they haven't figured out off-stump theory, bowling outside off, but keeping it close to the stumps. They just, for the left-handers, that is. They don't know what they're doing there. Whereas South Africa at least had a plan.
Yep, it's strange. Maybe we can also chalk that up to the lack of preparation. Asita Fernando over the wicket to Rassie van der Dussen, short and pulled by Rassie into deep mid-wicket, bounces about 30 meters from the boundary and hits the boundary, and that's the first boundary of the day. First one to Rassie for the day. He's on 44 of 84, 154 for 1.
Was Rassie really getting stick yesterday for batting too slowly?
Yes. Too slowly? Yes, some people felt that with the lower level quality of the Sri Lankan bowling attack, that he needed to try and press his advantage a little bit more. They were comparing him to Dean Algar, but the argument with Dean Algar is Dean got a lot of bad balls up front. And so
Asita Fernando over the wicket, left alone by Rassie, wide outside off stump, still getting some shape is Asita Fernando, but that was harmlessly through to the keeper.
And the sad part about it was that the SuperSport commentators were discussing it as well at length about how they were commenting on how he hadn't scored a run in like 23 balls, and it just was and they were adding fuel to the fire, which they'll have to learn, because obviously it's baffling because they've been at the back end of a lot of stick from commentators before, but they are just giving it out now to to a man who's probably number 3 in a test match is the hardest batting position in the world.
It almost
Asita
certainly
Fernando
is.
to Van der Dussen, who blocks this in front of his middle stump. Lots of bounce and no danger of any dismissal there. No run.
Ravi, we have questions here from our Periscope family. Mesno Man says, "Morning, everyone." And the question is, Ravi, is that gin in your glass?
Asita Fernando to Van der Dussen, left alone outside off stump, no run.
No. It's lime juice and sugar. That's all.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that one of those?
Time of the afternoon.
Okay. Is that like a health regime that you're following, Ravi?
No, I just like sweet drinks.
I see. Okay. So it's like a homemade lemonade.
Yes, exactly, but made with lime. So I don't know, limeade.
Yes. Limonade. Yes. Okay. Asita Fernando to Van der Dussen, left outside off stump, no run. End of Fernando's 11th over, 154 for 1.
And so Rassi mentioned something yesterday in his in the morning's press conference. He was talking about how at the Wanderers you need to leave well outside the off stump and force the bowlers to bowl straight to you so you can pick it off.
Yes. Maybe it was a dig at the commentators. I mean, it's a silly. He did exactly the right thing yesterday, as far as I was concerned, when he was batting. So there was absolutely no need for criticism. He stayed on 0 for 40 deliveries, and it wouldn't have made a difference. He was wearing down the Sri Lankans, and they have all the time in the world.
Exactly.
Man says
Fernando outside off stump and rather weak cut shot played by Algar and misses the edge. Thankfully for him, goes through to the keeper for no run.
Mesno Man says lime juice with mandarin brandy.
Okay, there's history here. Chris, Mesno Man, and I are part of a Guardian Readers Cricket Association, which has been going on for 10 years now. And on one time, he actually went out
over the wicket. This time, the cut shot connects well by Algar, and it races to the point boundary for 4. 155, 57, 58 for 1 as the score gets updated. The lead is 1 now for South Africa.
Yeah, beautiful shot.
Algar's on 98.
Why did you have to say it? But it's fine.
Good seam position by Vishwa Fernando, aiming the seam at first slip, but too wide and too short. Algar faces again, this one through to the keeper, left alone, no run.
Okay. So anyway, when we Guardian readers went out on a night, we actually brought Mandarin brandy. One of them brought Mandarin brandy. This was in 2012 or something. So ever since there, we've had the legend of the Mandarin brandy as our drink of choice. Okay. And that's what Mitchell Man is talking about.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a wild day drinking.
Fernando on off stump full and off the outside edge to backward point by Algar. That one was an attempted cut shot on the full toss, and I think it hit the ground before it reached backward point, but good fielding, good stop there at backward point.
Yeah, I don't think
Faf is standing up. Faf and the whole purchase little change room are standing up because they don't want what happened to Faf to happen to Dean.
These superstitions. Oh dear.
And Algar faces Vishwa Fernando again. This one blocked in front of middle, outside edge, out to extra cover, no run. Everybody is watching Algar now from the South African dressing room. Faf is ready to go out and bat should he be needed. Nobody else batted up.
So has Keshav Maharaj taken off his pads from last night? Keshav Maharaj was padded up midnight watching out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he's in his blue kit, in his training kit or his warm-up kit. Vishwa Fernando, last ball of the over, left hand over the wicket to the left-handed Algar, blocks this to point, and there is no run. 158 for 1.
So we have to wait a little bit more for certain things to happen. Mesmo Man says, I've seen the photos of Ravi that night. If you have some photos, please do share them with us on Twitter. I know it was 2005, it might be a little bit grainy, but we like to see Ravi in his element.
He's seen the photos on Facebook, I think, but no, he has not got the photos, thank goodness. I mean, we started drinking at about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and we stopped drinking at 11:30 at night when the trains were finishing. So it was quite a lot of drinking that day.
Yeah, those kind of stories, if you can remember them, you've done well. Asita Fernando over the wicket to Van der Dussen on off stump edge to second slip, but past the outstretched hand of a diving second slip, diving to his right. That would have been right into the cupped hands of a third slip, but Rassie van der Dussen lives again. Ball goes to the boundary for 4, 162 for 1. Really good delivery by Asita Fernando. This one, seam position perfect on off stump. Rassie had to play it, gets the outside edge through the hands of second slip. Outstretched right hand of the man diving from second slip to catch that ball, and that was close. I wouldn't say if that's a dropped catch, that's an extremely harsh criticism.
It's a drop nonetheless. He got a full palm onto that one.
He got a hand on it, yeah. And Asita Fernando in again on middle and leg, deflected off his pads by Rassie van der Dussen. There is an appeal, but that was definitely going down leg. It is leg buys, signalled by the umpire there, 166 for 1.
That's Maré Erasmus, isn't it?
Maré Erasmus, yes, signalling leg buys there. Straying a bit in his line here with the shape that he's getting. That one started a little bit too far on the onside of the batsman. It was too high to be a serious appeal. 166 for 1. South Africa lead by 9.
Rassie's batting on a different strip to Dean Alga. Well, this
and
is
he's facing.
Also, these last 2 overs have been an example of for Sri Lanka. When the luck is not with you, it's just not with you. All the luck is with South Africa right now.
Yeah, and bowls again. This one left alone for length because it just flies over the stumps to the keeper, no run.
But there are like it's not working. It's quite sad, but it's because those ones.
It's nice for your South Africans.
Yeah, it is. It's just like, but Asita Fernando is gas. He is quicker than than you would expect, and that's what got Rassie in with that edge.
Rassie van der Dussen faces him again, drives this one. Better looking shot by Rassie, straight to mid-off, no run. 166 for 1.
Mesmo Man says, can you tell Uncle Ravi that his nieces wish him well for the new year and Happy New Year to you all? Happy New Year to you, Mesmo Man.
All the best for the new year. Yeah.
The lovely glasses.
No, I've been refraining from using the word happy in these times, but yes, if that's how you feel, then that's fine. Fernando to Van der Dussen through to the keeper for no run.
But Otto, you
all the best for the new year. All the best for the new year. It's a low bar to clear, but we can do better this year.
Be more positive, Otto. Be more positive.
Otto, take all the happiness you can get. If someone wishes you happy, be happy. Damn it.
Yes, I'll take it.
And so this is a record second wicket partnership for South Africa against Sri Lanka.
Good stuff. Asita Fernando into Rassie van der Dussen. This one is blocked outside off stump to point. And that is the end of Asita Fernando's 12th over. He's conceded 39. He bowled some wayward deliveries yesterday afternoon. Before that, his figures were really, really awesome for Sri Lanka. Him and Dasun Shanaka were the best bowlers for Sri Lanka in this their first bowling innings in the second test. 132 runs partnership, 204 balls faced, 24s. Dean Algar with 73 of those, and of course Rassie with his 48, 11 extras, strike rate of 65.
And now eyes looking down for Dean Elgar's century. Come on, get it.
Dean Algar
You
is
can do
facing
it,
Vishwa
Dean.
Fernando. Left-hander to the left-hander, blocked into the covers for no run. 166 for one. Dean has faced 132 balls so
No
far.
loose
Come on,
shots
Dino.
yet.
Just,
No
just,
loose
Come on,
shots.
Dino.
Yeah, I mean, we also said about Rassie yesterday that if he gets out now, it's going to look bad. But like you said, Ravi, he was doing the job for his country, and the whole point was these two getting through to the close of play, which they did. So
Which they
really,
did.
I think
Absolutely.
the job done from Algar and Van der Dussen. Vishwa Fernando
Yep.
into Dean Algar. He cuts this straight through the covers. No time for the fielders to move. He's got 102. South Africa 170 for one. Dean Algar lifts his bat and his helmet to the change room. They're all on their feet applauding him. And I'll do the golf course clap as well there while there's nobody in the stands. Well done, Dean Algar. 13th Test century. And that century came from 133 balls with 8 fours and a strike rate of 51.06. So well done to Dean Algar opening the batting and getting to his 100.
I think.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I was
8.
reading it wrong here. It switched on me. 18 fours. You're quite correct. Thank you, Ravi. 18 fours.
That's
76 strike rate. Yes. This one by Dean Algar goes to mid-wicket, off his pads, straight to the fielder who deflects it to mid-on, and they go for a single. The lead is now 14. Dean Algar 103 off 134, and Rassie van der Dussen to face Vishwa Fernando, who's past 50. He's on 12.3 overs and conceding 50 runs so far in the innings. So yes, just a correction there. 193 minutes. Strike rate for Dean Algar's 176.9.
Yeah.
This is a very healthy strike.
That was a very good 100. Probably one of. I don't think it's probably going to be one of his best. I think the one he did in India he had in India last year was probably one of his best because he batted in some tough conditions. But
Vishwa Fernando around the wicket to Rassie van der Dussen, beats the inside edge as it was quite wide outside off stump. Rassie played the line, but it beat the inside edge of his bat to the keeper for no run. So Vishwa Fernando, the left-hander, round the wicket to the right-hander. Yes.
Yeah, very awkward looking shot by Rassie. Not at all. Oh, I wonder if Dr. Dan's been.
Yeah.
Vishwa Fernando round the wicket to Rassie van der Dussen. This one tighter on off stump, defended back down the pitch for no run. One ball to come.
If you look at the way the Sri Lankans are bowled to Dean, and obviously this is what Dean was talking about, taking advantage of the poor balls, and he's done that really well. He's looked with a positive intent to play with a positive intent, and then obviously the Sri Lankans bowled in his half. On the other end, Rassie obviously is being a lot more cautious and circumspect because the bowling to him has been quite phenomenal.
Vishwa Fernando round the wicket to Rassie van der Dussen. Good leave, no run. 171 for one. Yes.
We have a tweet from A.B. Muller who says, well done, Dean Algar. What a knock. A captain's knock with the two eyes. With an ellipsis in the two eyes. So, yeah, look, I think I think Dean was also one of the candidates to be the Proteas captain. But obviously, I think because we're ageist in this country and he's over 30, many thought he wasn't the right candidate. So all the old people are doing a great job.
Elgar seems to me a man who keeps himself to himself. He's not outgoing enough to be a captain. I don't know. That's just my impression I get.
He's captained the team very well in Faf's absence at times throughout Faf's captaincy career. And I really like this.
To Dean Algar, who blocks this solid defence outside off to the covers for no run. And now we see most hundreds for South Africa in test matches, and Algar is creeping up with 1300s, creeping up to Herschel Gibbs.
Yeah, eighth on the list. Yeah. And he needs 2 more centuries to go to 5. to go to 6 to be
15.
behind Kirsten, De Villiers, Smith, Amla, and Callis.
So he
Asita
scored more
Fernando
than
to
Faf
Dean
so far,
Algar,
Troy.
blocked outside off into the covers for no run. Sorry, Ravi, carry on.
He scored more centuries than Faf so far. Faf has only got 10, hasn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And Algar has got 15 50s and 13 100s, so it's a decent conversion rate. Very good conversion rate, I would say.
Also, you might have noticed, score, if you're commentating on it, that Dean Elgar is back above 40 average. So
Yes.
you do have a 40 averaging batsman from South Africa.
Yeah. No, so you've got Faf,
Asita Fernando
and you also have Aiden.
over the
I think
wicket
Aiden's
to Dean
not
Algar,
allowed.
blocked to mid wicket, no run, 171 for 1. Carry on, Paul.
No, I'm just saying. I think when we went into this test, it was Faf and Aiden who had averages of 40. But with that innings yesterday, Aiden's average is now 39.26. Oh.
But Faf is still above 40, isn't he?
Yes, he was at 41 after that 199.
Asita Fernando into Algar, blocked outside off stump, actually just sort of punch driven down the ground, fielded at mid-off for a single, 172 for 1.
One I was looking down for Russie's 50 as well. I'm just trying to make you guys superstitious. Get your legs off the floor or something.
Don't do this to us. Don't do this to us.
I was looking down for Russie. 50. Come on, you can do it.
you go, Ravi. You run with that. I'll just do ball by ball. 2 more balls to go in this over. The lead is 15.
Oh, come
to Rassie van der Dussen on drive, past mid off and mid on. Past mid on, who runs in vain to collect the ball on the boundary. Rassie van der Dussen, 4th test 50. He's on 52. The lead is 19. South Africa 176 for 1. So a good start by these two.
How I could predict that.
Absolutely. It was inevitable.
You should charge
so
for your skill.
Yeah, Rassie was dropped on 48, I think.
I wish Otto was a bookmaker and he was giving out live odds, and I'm 10 seconds ahead of him. So I know exactly when to place the bet.
Asita Fernando on the off stump of Rassie van der Dussen gets behind the line with his whole body, blocks this solidly down the pitch for no run. No, I stay away from sports betting. Judging by my performance on Super Brew, I should be nowhere near a sports betting facility of any kind. Definitely won't be calculating odds either, unless I can do it with an app that I write.
So we have a tweet from AB. He's He's quoting Cricket Fanatics magazine. They asked, "What total do you think the Proteas will finish on?" AB says, "I reckon the lead will be around 280 by the close of play." He's not answering the question, but anyway, we take that. So that 280 add to 157, that is 437. That's what he's saying, based on
I think
the maths.
Proteas will be happy with a 350 lead. If they're all out for 500 or something.
Vishwa Fernando to Dean Algar, and he cuts this late cut wide outside off stump down to the point boundary, and they take a single. Yes, say again, Ravi.
I think South Africa will be happy with a 350 lead. They don't want to be too greedy.
No.
And AB Muller sent through a quote tweet. I'll read it at the end of the at the beginning of the over. It's from Daniel Gallen, who's a member of GC UK. He's a South African.
Vishwa Fernando, left-handed round the wicket and down the leg side, no run. Yes.
And he's a cricket writer as well. He tweeted most runs as an opening batter in Test cricket over the last 5 years, just saying. And on top of that list is Dean Algar, 2,919 runs. An average of 40.54. The next best is 8 runs behind him, which is Karunaratne, 2,911 runs at an average of 37. They've both
Vishwa
played.
Fernando around the wicket to Rassie van der Dussen. Extra cover drive by Rassie van der Dussen. Beautiful shot. Fielders not moving. Dissects the cover fielders, the extra cover and the mid-off for a 4. 181 for 1 is the score now.
Good shot there from Rassie. Just all timing there. Just so beautiful.
2 full by Vishwa Fernando. Yeah.
And
what I like about Rassie is that he's had difficulties this morning because the Sri Lankans have bowled a tight off-stump line, but he hasn't let it upset him, and he's always taken on the bad balls and scored his runs on them. He hasn't let it affect him.
Yeah, Vishwa around the wicket, left-handed to Rassie van der Dussen, full outside off-stump, left alone by Rassie, and there is no run. Van der Dussen is on 56 off 102, Algar on 105 off 139, lead is 24, 181 for 1.
So on this list, Dean Algar's at the top, Karunaratne is second, 8 runs behind him. David Warner, having played about 20 less in 14 less innings than Dean, has 2,766 runs and an average of 46. Tom Latham is fourth on that list, 2,749. And
Vishwa Fernando round the wicket on the leg stump line, pushed into mid-on by Rassie, defended, no run.
And then Aiden on the list.
I'm getting there. Alistair Cook is fifth at 2,601, even though he played 2 years of those 5. Craig Brathwaite of the West Indies is sixth. KL Rahul of India at 1,663 runs, 2016 to 2019. Aiden Markram, is eighth on the list with 1,497.
Vishwa Fernando full on middle and off, and that one I think must have gotten an inside edge. The Sri Lankans appealed for an LBW. The bowler is insisting. Dimuth Karunaratne is signalling to umpire Adrian Holstock that he wants the decision reviewed.
It's going down leg.
That might have gone down leg, but it was very full. Umpire's decision is not out. Rassie van der Dussen fell over his own feet a little bit there, and we'll see what the replays show now. We're waiting, and there we go. The first replay shows the ball pitching on leg, middle and leg, and hitting him. It looks like it also might have hit him outside the line there, Ravi, so well spotted.
Yeah.
Here comes the desperation.
Any bat? No bat involved. It hits him on the front pad, but you can see almost middle stump. So his foot is planted on middle and leg, and the ball hits him low on the front pad. That's almost hit him outside the line of leg stump and missing the wickets by about 2 balls, 2.5 ball width outside leg. So good decision by Adrian Holstock. 1 decision lost for Sri Lanka. They've got 2 reviews remaining. South Africa have 3 reviews remaining, and not a good review there by Sri Lanka.
No, it was a review of desperation, as Umpo said.
Yeah. Algar is facing now. Asita Fernando starts his 14th over the wicket to Dean Algar on middle, and struck the pads, but that's a bit too high, I would say. As Algar tried to play it off his pads, but he couldn't connect, and it looks like Dimuth Karunaratne is considering another review. No, and they're not going to review this one. Wise decision.
And AB
must be,
tweets, and so begins Sri Lanka wasting their reviews.
Yes.
You feel sorry for them because the luck has been against them anyway this morning, and they're trying to see if they can get something.
Yeah, that was hit him on the line of leg and middle, so it had to have bounced outside leg. This one defended on middle and off by Dean Algar, back down the pitch for no run. Let's just see here if I can get the Sri Lankan captain's name right. Karunaratne, yes, Dimuth Karunaratne is the Sri Lankan captain for this test.
Yes.
Apologies for the pronunciation of his name there. Asita Fernando has got one. He's got the only wicket for Sri Lanka in this innings. They've got two slips, a gully point, or that's a backward point in a catching position. Asita Fernando to Dean Algar, who cuts this through point. There is a man. No, there's no sweeper on the boundary that's going to stop that fall. Dean moves on to 109 off 142 balls, and it's 185 for one. The lead is now 28, 29 fours in South Africa's innings so far. So Asita Fernando is. Sorry, say again.
They're using a Kookaburra ball, aren't they, in this test?
Yes, they are. Yes, we are.
Because it looks in remarkably good condition for a ball that is this old. It's what?
Yes.
It's in 50, 60 overs now. They're not giving us the overs, unfortunately. But
but this Wanderers outfield is like a baby's blanket. We've had a lot of rain in December, so that won't damage the ball at all. Not even the square will. Algar faces Asita Fernando again, and this one on middle, defended by Dean to mid-on, and no run. So if you want to damage the ball or soften the ball, you've got to hit it into the advertising boards or into the stands. Hitting it to the boundary sponges won't do anything. And we saw that in Centurion as well, where we had like I think a 40, 50 over old ball, and you could still see the gold print on the ball.
And the varnish. It's fantastic.
Yes. So very kind to the in previous years, in previous seasons, 2017, 18, we had a drought, and so the ball aged a bit quicker then. Algar inside edge as he defends outside off stump, goes the Vatican slice there through his legs down to fine leg, and they take a single. 186 for one. Dean Algar on 110. Van der Dussen will face the final delivery of this over. He's on 56 off 104. Let's see exactly where this one went. Off the inside edge through his legs down to fine leg.
Are they reaching 150 in their stand yet? When did Markham's wicket fall?
They should be close to that.
It's 151 run stand.
Okay, great stuff. Well spotted, Ravi. Yes, that's 150 up for this second wicket partnership. Asita Fernando to Rassie van der Dussen, who drives nicely through extra cover. Once again, to the right of the extra cover fielder and to the left of the mid-off fielder. And that's a beautiful cover drive by Rassie van der Dussen, 60 off 105 now. So we knew yesterday that this is what Rassie can do. Just gets his eye in, and once he's in, he stays in, and he can really pile on the runs, and he scores quickly with these type of shots where he puts away the slightest mistake by the bowler outside off stump goes to the boundary, and that, as many people have said, that's if you're a good batsman, you can hit a good ball for a 4 or a 6. So that's what he's doing here. He has. We see a list of Dean Algar's last 5 innings, and so he's got himself to 95 in December last year against this very same team when he lost his wicket in that Centurion test, and now he's passed the century mark, and the 3 before that, 24, 26 and 15 in January of 2020 against England. But it must be said as well, as we see Shamira, it looks like, replacing Vishwa Fernando, and this one by Algar is out to point for a single. I'll just confirm. Yes, Chamira is bowling his 8th over. The lead is 34, 191 for one. That was a quality England attack that Algar faced there, and if you face quality bowling in South Africa, Australia or England, that's probably the worst place to be an opening batsman. The worst places to be an opening batsman.
Absolutely. Also, New Zealand can be quite tricky for an opener.
Yes.
But I absolutely agree with that. Also, it shows how little cricket Dean Elgar's had this year. I mean, the England players had tests throughout the year, socially distanced, and the bubble and all the rest of it. Elgar's had what, 2 tests against England and one against India. 3 tests in 20.
Jamira over the wicket to Rassie van der Dussen, left alone, no run. Yeah, it was that 3-test series in January, and that was it. That series was a 3-test series, right? Yeah, it was 3 tests in January. Yeah. So there we have confirmation: 157 runs, 230 balls for the second wicket partnership here. Algar contributing 86 and Rassie van der Dussen 60.
Russie's catching up.
Yep. Jamira over the wicket, 2 slips into Rassie van der Dussen. He punches this straight into the non-strikers' wickets. Jamira was nowhere near that, but Dean Algar was also back in his crease. So a little bit too straight there from Rassie van der Dussen as the ball came off his middle and leg stump line, and it hit the stumps at the other end on the middle and off. If you're a left-handed batsman, looking down the pitch there. 191 for 1. Good shot by Rassie, but no reward. Jamira in over the wicket again on middle and leg, and helped on its way to fine leg by Rassie for another 4.
Yeah, Jamira is not keeping up with the discipline that Asita and Vishwa brought up in the first inning. So that is quite disappointing, because from a Sri Lanka perspective, you need to come back into this game.
They won't get it by giving easy runs to Van der Dussen, because they're troubling him.
Yes, and they've got this packed offside field. Why is he bowling on the stumps? Jamira in again to Van der Dussen. This time it's a better line, outside off stump on that 4th stump line. Rassie tries the on drive, and it's fielded by mid on, no run. You've got 2 men in the covers. You've got a backward point, a gully, 2 slips. We'll check who the boundary riders are. We know they've got nobody at fine leg. So why are you bowling onto the stumps? That's just, the basics, as they said. They've got somebody at sort of a fine-ish square leg, but it's not fine enough to stop the bad ball from being deflected off the pads. As Jamira goes over the wicket to Van der Dussen, outside off, left alone to the keeper, no run.
So that field is there for that field is there for the leg stump half volley, which goes square.
Yes.
That one went very fine.
Yes.
And obviously it was a lively fine touch from Rassie, but he has to bowl straight, but on the offside he has to bowl one side of the wicket, and also there's cover for him if he comes in straight, but he can't obviously go down leg side too much.
Absolutely right. It's weird that that's the problem with we saw it from the South Africans as well. Just sticking to the basics and keeping the ball in those areas, bowling to your field, just basic test cricket. 195 for 1 after 46 overs with 15 extras for South Africa. Markram was out for 5. Caught Kusal Mendes off Asita Fernando yesterday, 5 of 21. Algar 111 of 145, and Rassie van der Dussen not out on 64.
The thing is that Hendrik Nokia took the most wickets, but he was also, by some distance, South Africa's most wayward bowler yesterday.
Yes.
In the sense that he has the pace, but he doesn't have the control. He can't necessarily get the ball to go where he wants it to. So he gets very difficult deliveries to play, almost by luck. He doesn't necessarily intend it to go there, but he gets the ball rising off the off stump.
Dasun Shanaka has replaced Asita Fernando now around the wicket to Dean Algar. He defends this off his hips into square leg area for no run.
So Nokia's 4 wickets after lunch came almost without necessarily planning it. I know it sounds horrible to say that.
Yep.
Obviously they had
Shanaka around the wicket to Dean Algar, defends this outside off stump, and there is no run.
No one would accuse Nokia of bowling like Glenn McGrath. Let's put it that way.
No, no. Yeah, and that sixth wicket, that last, or that, I can't remember which one it was, but the one just before lunch where, was it Anuka, who gifted him a wicket by playing the weirdest shot ever. Shanaka around the wicket to Algar, left alone outside off stump through to the keeper for no run. It was just madness.
That wicket was all bounce. It just bounced so high. He could have left it. But I think he thought it was a gift. And it came too quickly at him, and obviously came out, it was the handle of the bat. Well, not the handle of the bat, but got him high on the bat, and it was caught behind. Because that's the thing about the wind is
no good reason to play it. Shanaka in again to Dean Algar. This one into the pitch, bump ball back to the bowler, no run. Went straight back to Shanaka. And you see the difference now here, where Shanaka is bowling outside off. He's keeping it outside off because he's got two fielders on the onside, close to the wicket, and the rest of them are all on the offside.
Yeah. Shanaka is
he's
really a class above when it comes to control.
Absolutely. He's bowling his seventh over. He's conceded only 13. Again, outside off stump. This one is driven to mid-on, and it beats the mid-on fielder to his right, and it goes to the boundary for 4. And that was a good shot by Dean Algar. Fetched the ball outside off and drove it to mid-on. 199 for 1. The lead is 42. The answer to life, the universe, and everything.
And we're looking now at South Africa's 200, another landmark. This is not one you can be superstitious about. They have to make it. We've got Elgar's 100.
Shanaka again. Around the wicket, left alone, no run.
But this is an opportunity for Dean and Rassie and whoever's going to come to follow him to get some big runs here. If South Africa is aiming to get close to about, I think, 600 or 550, there's a lot of runs on offer, especially with the way Sri Lanka's bowling.
Absolutely. I'm hoping for a 10 by 100. I'm just hoping that he gets one. I don't care about.
I don't think he's gonna come out to bat. If things are going.
I'd like to see Faf du Plessis and whoever else finishing the innings not out, and not giving our lower middle order a chance to bat. I think that should be the goal. Chamira over the wicket to Rassie van der Dussen, driven to mid-off, no run. They've got 2 slips, a gully, a point, extra cover, and a mid-off. So let's see if Chamira this time can keep to bowling to his field. As we're
talking about this almost as though it's Lego cricket. Oh, we want them to do this, and we want them to do that.
Test cricket is easy, man.
Right now, if you're South Africa, it is. But
Chamira over the wicket to Van der Dussen. This one is too short and too wide to interest Van der Dussen, who leaves it alone outside off, no run.
Much better ball there from Chamira.
Well, at least it's on the offside, so that's good.
Yeah, but you also need to take wickets, and you need to get to a point, especially when there's a partnership. Just bowl stump to stump, and that's all we need. And the Sri Lanka need to get that right, because obviously with Rassie, they're teasing him outside off stump with those balls in that channel, which is fine. But there need to be some balls that come in and try and make him play at those balls rather than him necessarily leaving them outside the off stump, which is what he's been doing.
That one was the correct line by Chamira, just outside off stump, driven straight to mid-off by Rassie, but they take a single. He didn't hit it hard enough to make the ball go quickly enough to stop the single to mid-off. And that's 200 up for South Africa. The lead is 43, and the run rate is 4.21. That, I would say, is totally because of Sri Lanka's bowling and just punishing the bad deliveries from South Africa's point of view. 2 slips, backward point, gully-ish position, extra cover, off as Jamira goes round the wicket to Algar, outside off stump, played back to the bowler, no run.
Dean batting really well. Yes, Ravi?
I was saying Sri Lanka have bowled, well, we've used the word wayward so often, it's become a cliche, but they've been bowling leg off, without really a plan, or sticking to the plan, it feels, some of them. That it makes it easier for South Africa's batsmen to take toll of them.
Yeah, that's definitely what's been happening in this innings and in the previous test. Jamira around the wicket, bouncing Algar, who ducks underneath it. Dick Weller tries to jump in the air to stop it, but it goes for 4 byes. 204 for 1. There, once again, Jamira is in his 9th over. He's conceded 40 runs so far. He's been a bit better this morning, but back to his old ways now with that delivery. Dick Weller had no chance of getting that. Went about 15, 20 centimeters above his hand as he was jumping in the air.
So here's
the wicket keeper.
Yeah, we've got a tweet from AB.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for you to finish this ball.
Okay, Jamira around the wicket to Dean Algar. This one is on middle and off, high up on the bat. Surprising bounce there, and no run. End of the over.
Yes. So AB says, if Algar gets out next, if you were QDK, would you bring yourself in at 4? Would you frustrate the Sri Lanka bowlers with the left-right combo, in my opinion? We also have 2 left-handed proper batsmen in this 11. Anyone waiting in the wings? Oh, we only have 2 left-handed batsmen in this 11. Is there anybody else waiting in the wings who's a left-hander? And then Aidan O'Connor replies, I'd send in Temba. The left hand, right hand combination is an outdated concept. We need to bring in a tall, short combination to frustrate the bowlers.
Yes. Yes.
You like the tall short, don't you?
I do. Yes, I totally agree with that tweet. It's an advantage we have having a guy like Temba in the side, and we need to milk that as much as we can.
How tall is Temba really?
He's 163 or 162.
Yeah.
162. So
he's taller than James Taylor.
Yeah. But probably shorter than Madison
continues. Over the wicket to Van Dussen on middle, and this one is just played lightly to square leg. They go through for a quick single. Once again, nice soft hands, the ball not getting to the fielder quickly enough to stop the single. 205 for 1.
Actually, I wonder if Temba was placed in a women's team, how many of the players would he be taller than? Only Shadman Nisbet.
It depends which women's team. Maybe the South African. We've got some tall timber in the South African lineup.
Exactly.
Shadman Ismail is
and should be I think he'd be taller than Dumi.
Yes.
Would be
taller than Dumi. Shanaka around the wicket to Algar, defends this back to the bowler, no run.
Now,
in terms of the left-handers,
picture of Temba with the women's team, there surely must be one with all of them standing together.
I don't think so. Let me just try and figure out in terms of the players who play in our domestic series, who is a left-hander that's coming up. The only other one that I know.
Shanaka to Algar, short on leg stump from the right-handed Shanaka around the wicket, helped on its way with a nice pull shot down to find leg for 4.
That's a good shot for 1. Very good shot.
Punishing the bad ball. No, that's just punishing the bad ball.
My answer to that question is no, I wouldn't change the batting order. Bath is looking set at 4. You leave him in there. And then if the Sri Lankans really, really look like they're in trouble, Quinton is the best man to take toll of them as the next man.
Yes.
But
Shanaka to Algar. off his hips to mid on or to mid wicket, and there's no there's a single taken, 210 for one. Lead is 53. Yes, carry on, Ravi.
There's no point in changing Faf's place in the batting order, and bringing Quinny or Temba in earlier would be pointless. My point of view.
So the
And Faf can
left-handed
also accelerate if Faf is there, even if he's there with Algar, he can also accelerate.
Guys, wait. Why are we talking about acceleration? There's no need to accelerate. Just bat normally. You've got 4 days to play. There's no need to be chopping and
that
changing.
would be the only
lineups, moving people through, changing anything. Just bat as normal.
Lanka.
You'll get to the end of the day with a lead of 280. By the end of the day, you've already won the match. So quite frankly,
Lanka to Van der Dussen defended a high unexpected bounce there, and there is no run. Yes, carry on, Paul.
No, so AB asked about left-handers. Marks Ackerman is a left-hander. He plays for the Dolphins. Dominic Hendricks, who's the 4th highest run scorer right now in the 4-day series, playing for the Lions. He's a left-handed bat. There's not a lot of left-handed batters, but even with the whole left-right situation, yes, it messes up bowling lines, but you want the best run scorers in your team. And if you produce a team of 5 right-handers, then let it be. Sri Lanka produced a team of 5 left-handers.
Last ball of the over, defended, no run. So, we were talking about acceleration because the question was, would you send QDK up the order? The only reason
it was just for the left-hand, right-hand combination. No, it was to keep the left-hand, right-hand combination.
Okay.
Yeah, but even then, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to do that. Just play your normal game. You haven't won test. You've only won 2 tests in the last 8. So we can't be getting carried away, playing around with things. Respect the game, respect everything, and respect Sri Lanka as opponents, and try win this game as upright as possible. There's no need for you to do anything fancy.
Agreed. Wow. And Chamira continues around the wicket to Algar, and outside off stump ball played onto mid wicket, and they take a single, 211 for one. Yes, Ravi.
Okay. Umpo, you express strong views on the fact that if your 5 best batsmen are right-handed, play 5 right-handed batsmen. I couldn't disagree with you there. What about when it comes to bowlers? Would you play a left-handed bowler because you wanted to play?
Good point. Yeah.
Because a lot of teams seem to be bringing in left-handed bowlers purely for the difference in angle and attack.
Yes, my favorite left-arm seamer got dropped after he conceded 28 in an over.
Chamira has got only a slip and a gully and a man on the point boundary now as he goes to Van der Dussen outside off, left alone, no run.
Look, so I think the way I see it is from a first principles perspective, pick your best 6 batsmen in the country. If they happen to all be right-handers, that's fine. If you've got guys waiting in the wings and guys ready who are left, who can come in, then you can then start seeing if you can include them. But the first part is to always just pick your best batsman, and the variations will come. I think from a T20 perspective, we've decided to go look for people who bring you something different.
Chamira short on middle and leg and pulled down to find leg for a single by Van der Dussen, 212 for one. Yes.
And I think from a preparation perspective, batting lineups can prepare better with a right arm all-seam attack because they know that that's what they're getting. Whereas if there's some variation from a different arm, from a left armer, that could also set the cat amongst the pigeons. But I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter much because we look at Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka should be happy to bowl at left-handers because they've got like 6 left-handers on tour. But the way they've been bowling to Dean Algar yesterday and today has been just very poor. So at times, just pick your best side. And if it's somehow you get that mix of right and left, that's great. It's just that obviously people get worried by a larger proportion of one-handed batsmen. Okay, not one-handed, but one-sided handed batsmen.
Chamira to Algar, that last delivery was just blocked to the side of the wicket on the offside, no run.
Yeah, I'm going to use that phrase from now on, one-sided handed batsman. It's so elegant. It's so elegant.
So this will be my last over, certainly. I don't know which of you guys
And
are
mine
carrying
as
on.
well.
Jamira
Yeah.
onto middle and off, blocked by Dean Algar into the cover region, not getting off the square, no run. This is a better line by Jamira to Dean Algar. He's keeping it tight, pitching it on middle and off, and forcing Dean Algar to play. It's a bit short still. That's flying through about shoulder height, just below shoulder height, and Dean just blocking it outside his off stump with a high bat, straight bat. 121 now, Dean Algar off 160, lead is 55. Jamira in again around the wicket to Dean Algar. He's now got one slip and a gully, and he puts this one outside off stump, and it's a brilliant cover drive by Dean Algar. Nicely done, son. All the way to the boundary for 4. 216 for 1.
So that's the end of our stint, Otto. We have successfully made sure that these two have gotten past their impending milestones, and we haven't taken any wickets. We also oversaw 10 runs. So Simon and Tempo don't take any wickets.
Oh, hi.
Cheers, you guys. Enjoy.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much, Mpho and Otto and Ravi. Thanks so much for joining us for the second hour.
No, it's a pleasure. And I can just about manage to cope, I think. But someone else is going to have to do tweets, as I said earlier, because my laptop has gone through bar.
No problem at all. I adjusted my feed to be that of Otto's. Chepo, so a rising ball off the outside the off stump from Shanaka to resume his 9th over, and Van der Dussen just drops that down to Gully, and no run. So they've got 216 for 1. Elgar is there on, what's he on, 190? They've just taken the score away, 119 I think.
125 at the moment. And Rassie van der Dussen's on 67. Hello, everyone. Well done. For some cricket over here. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, very, very well, thank you. As Shanaka comes in for the second ball of his over, and this was a straighter one, and for a moment there I thought he might have been in the money for LBW, but it was turned well onto the onside by Rassie, and no run, 216 for 1. I think what we can also do is possibly reset our scorecard here. It doesn't reset very often, which is not ideal, and it does irritate me somewhat.
Was falling behind, look at it, because currently we're on 216 for 1 at the moment.
Yeah, so if we do that, and that should then sort out our scorecard on the, as this is just defended into the offside, and no run. There you go, 216 for 1. Ravi, has these messages from Mez Nilman that came through at 10 o'clock, have they been read to you?
Yeah. The ones that came through at 10 o'clock, and Mez and Mpho's been very diligent on the tweets, so we're probably up to date. We're probably up to date.
Will you, Chepo, do you want to do tweets for us?
Yeah, 100%. I'm already there, already on the page.
This is why we pay you the big bucks, dude, because you're such a professional. Defended into the offside, no run.
You say big bucks, man. I still don't see money. Where's the money? Show me the money.
There's payment in other things than money. Don't be so narrow-minded.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You see how us youths are. We want to see real cash before we put it.
I'll pay you in retweets. I know you youths like those.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Once again, solid forward defensive by Rassie van der Dussen. I mean, sheesh, his primary school coach would have been thrilled to bits with that forward defensive.
Yeah.
These guys have gone along nicely today. About 5 runs and over, I heard you guys saying, hey, Rob?
About just over 4 runs and over. The problem is you guys have missed all the landmarks. You've missed Rassie's 50. You've missed Elgar's 100. You've missed South Africa's 200. You've missed the 150 stand. What have you got to look forward to for the next hour?
Well, I don't know. Maybe Van der Dussen could get like a century. I don't know. Algar maybe 200, but let's not jinx it. Let's just get some runs.
The last ball of that over from Shanaka just kept low, and Rassie did very well to play that onto the onside. There has been some variable bounce, but what we've seen is that because the Sri Lankans don't have the requisite pace to challenge this South African upper order. They're able to play it off the pitch fairly easily. And that was a really good example of that, with Van der Dussen just jamming down on the ball to keep it out.
There has been variable bounce, but not as much as at Centurion, where there was serious variation in bounce. Here, it's controllable, particularly if you're a good top order batsman, as you said.
Yeah, and second day at Wanderers, I mean, is just about one of the best batting wickets anywhere in the world, I think. Wanderers can be a real handful early on the first day, but I think second and third day, there are not too many stadiums in the world that certainly batsmen used to facing pace wouldn't happily bat.
Interesting.
Well, the problem is that South African batsmen are used to facing pace, not so much spin, of course, but Sri Lanka have gone in with just one spinner, and he hasn't had a good time with it so far. I mean, why they went with a leg spinner as their only spinner is an interesting question, but it means that every over he bowls a 4-ball or whatever, and it helps South Africa. Yesterday he was quite poor, wasn't he? Really,
he was indeed, and it was very disappointing to me, because they have got a couple of decent spinners in their squad that are sitting warming the bench at the moment. But also, I mean, just a country with such a proud history of spin, to not really have a frontline spinner at the moment is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, that's like South Africa or Australia struggling to find an opening bowler.
It's sacrilegious almost, to be honest. If you're from the subcontinent, that's your strength, and you'd expect that they'd be able to give the South Africans something different to work with. But not that their pace bowlers aren't great, they're just not at the same level as the South African pace attack, and you can see it here, just not getting as much bounce as you guys said earlier, just not enough express pace, and it's a bit unfortunate. And the South African batsmen have been up to the task, diligently defending very well. Rassie van der Dussen and Dean Alba as well, moving pretty quickly and not fishing for balls that aren't 4-balls. So yeah, they've been waiting very nicely there. The patience has been impeccable, and now we're just looking at some footage of the partnership here. 182-run partnership, 264 balls.
I think that was a drinks break, wasn't it? So yes. That's why we haven't had any play.
Sorry, can I just ask you, Ravi, are you now substantially ahead of us on your feed?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well then shall we just, Chepa, why don't you and I just set ourselves back to the live time? Because the only reason we delayed it was because of Otto.
I am live. I'm on DSTV now at the moment, and I'm looking at. We've just gone back to the game.
Yes,
I was basically on Otto's feed, yeah.
All right,
and we're just looking at the partnership.
So it's Chimera now just coming past Holstock, and the first ball after drinks is turned onto the onside by the left-handed Dean Elgar. It's square leg who comes running in to collect it, and they take an easy 2. They ran to 218 for 1, Elgar onto 127. Does that sound more or less in line with what you said?
No, I still haven't seen the first ball.
You're still on auto time.
Yeah, so
I'm on auto time.
Are you not able to? Are you taking an online feed, or are you on TV?
Yeah, I'm on online.
Sorry, mate. Okay, I thought that. Okay, we'll sort this out in a moment. As Chimera in again, he gets an edge. It flies easily to first slip, looping as first slip catches go. They're not really going to get much easier than that. And Dean Elgar, I think, will be irritated with himself. I couldn't really see. It didn't look like a particularly dangerous ball from Dumasanta Chimera, but he's managed to find the outside edge of South Africa's opening batsman, and that is the end of Dean Elgar for 127 runs.
Oh
man!
Oh no, it did move. It did move off the seam. And Elgar played just down the slightly wrong line.
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, he did get a little bit of a nibble away, didn't he? There.
Yes, he got a bit of a nibble away, and Elgar played not for the movement as such. And Chimera. Seppo, you said that they don't have the pace, the Sri Lankan bowlers. But if you remember, Chaminda Vaas never had the pace, but he always got the wickets. He had the skill.
That's true. That's true.
And these guys...
I just saw the wicket now. Like, I just saw the wicket
right.
very live. And
Chapel,
as I saw it, I see yeah.
Can you give us the numbers, and then we'll get our feeds.
100%. As soon as I see the numbers, I'll give it to you. But while I'm here, I got a tweet from Umpo, your friendly neighborhood sports guy. Dean will be disappointed with that wicket, but what a great knock from him, and 100% there, 125 runs off his first innings total. I'm about to give you these stats now. Dean Algar, 127 runs. He faced 163 balls, so quite a quick fire one, a strike rate of 77.9. He was really moving pretty quickly, and a score he won't forget anytime soon. Very valuable runs for him.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get you to do ball by ball as Faf faces his first couple of balls, and that'll enable me just to resync our feeds so that at least you and I are on the same page. And Ravi just needs to employ all his acting skills to not give us.
Exactly.
You did it very, very well yesterday, by the way. You nearly let us know about a wicket. So if you will let me know when Chamira comes past Adrian Holdstock on his first ball to Faf du Plessis. Faf coming in 100%. As the captain, coming in number 3 for South Africa. Captain courageous and all of that. Well, of course he isn't the captain any longer, is he?
No, he isn't the captain
these days. Yeah, he's the emotional captain, isn't he? He's still the spiritual captain of the team.
Well, he's the big man in the team, I suppose, in a sense, particularly since Kagiso Rabada is not playing. He and Quinny and Kagiso, which is sad, really, because Dean Elgar doesn't get that same appreciation, does he?
Yeah, Dean is always one of those under the radar kind of guys. To be honest, he's the sort of guy you want as an opening batsman. I don't want a glory boy as my batsman, as my opener. And I think that opening, not unlike keeping, is often, although so often you find your captains there, is not ideal a place to give a captain.
Chamira's coming in. He's about to pass Holdstock now. And Faf blocks this one down for no run.
Excellent. We're back in sync. I know particularly England loves to, make whoever is their number one batsman their captain. But particularly when guys like Alistair Cook and Michael Vaughan were going through bad patches, it put enormous amounts of pressure on the entire team.
And on the captain as well, unfortunately. Yes. But the thing is, it's unfortunate that cricket has this tradition of not really wanting fast bowlers to be captains or spinners, not wanting bowlers to be captains at all.
I was still doing ball by ball.
Oh, no. Sorry, I'll carry on doing ball by ball. Just left alone outside the offside, outside the off stump and no run. You're 100% right. And apart from the slightly, I don't know. I mean, what's the word for it? One of those words that ends in est. The sort of slight suspicion that bowlers aren't quite as bright as batsmen. They're the sort of rugby forwards of the cricket game, aren't they? As Chamira comes in again and it's left alone as it goes through to Dikwela and no run. Du Plessis is there on 0, Van der Dussen on 67. If you've just joined us, you've just missed the end of Dean Elgar's innings. A very, very solid 127 before he was caught at first by Teramani.
Simon Seppo of having missed all the landmarks, so they decided to create their own and took Dean Elgar's wicket. I apologize.
See, that's why I didn't want to watch any of the stuff. I wanted to make sure that Dean Elgar got himself a century. Rassie van der Dussen got himself a 50. Because,
and now you can watch.
Exactly.
I mean, to be honest, this is exactly what happened yesterday's second session when I joined the commentary feed. Left alone outside the off stump, no run. That's the end of a successful over from Chamira, and he is now 1 for 48 of his 11 overs. Still reasonably expensive, 4 runs and over in a bit.
But you were taking Sri Lankan wickets then. There's a difference.
Yes, I know.
Sri Lankan wickets.
Where's your subcontinental loyalty, Ravi?
No, I feel sorry for Sri Lanka. But right now, I just want to see this test get over tomorrow.
I used to feel sorry for Sri Lanka until they belted us the last time they came here. That came
literally.
so out of left field that South Africa. We weren't even disappointed or sad about it. We just didn't know how.
I was shocked.
Yeah,
I was 100% shocked. Came out of left field for me. I didn't even watch the series. I was at a frisbee tournament, and it was crazy.
A frisbee tournament.
A frisbee tournament.
I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say.
Ultimate frisbee is a real sport, gentlemen.
Yeah,
ultimate frisbee
I've got a couple of opinions on that, which I'm going to share in a moment. It's the new over from Shanaka just defended into the offside, no run. Now, any sport where they put ultimate right there in the name, I'm sorry, is trying too hard.
No, the reason why ultimate is in the name of ultimate frisbee, interesting fact, the word frisbee is actually trademarked by the toy company. I think it's like Wacko or something. But yes, we can't just play frisbee. You have to play ultimate frisbee. And you don't play with the frisbee, you play with a disc because the word frisbee is trademarked.
That sounds like a load of bollocks to me.
No, it's facts. VAR rates.
I play in Scrabble tournaments all the time.
You played Scrabble tennis all the time?
No, I play in Scrabble tournaments all the time. There's a bit of a shout from behind the stumps here. They're looking to claim that
the catch
that Van der Dussen, I think, was strangled down the leg side here. A big dive to his left by De Quella, and they have called for the review. They're very, very confident, and Van der Dussen not looking all that happy, to be honest.
Not at all.
I think
there was a very big sound there. There was a sound there. I'm hearing from my feet, just a little bit of a faint edge as he tried to play this down the leg side.
I think it took the glove, to be honest.
If there was that looks like he got it on the glove. Hey, he really, really did. And it is one that umpires are so careful to give out. Let's have a look at Ultra Edge here.
There it is. It's the glove. Good call, Ravi.
That's going to be the end of Van der Dussen, I'm afraid. And suddenly, Sri Lanka are back in this game.
On the front foot, two fresh new batsmen coming to
they're not really
to the middle of the wickets.
They're still 61 behind and 7 wickets out. But there's still a lot of batting from South Africa to come. Faf is still there, Quinton is still there, Temba is still there, Keshav Maharaj is still there. Sri Lanka is going to need a lot more than 2 quick wickets to get themselves back into this game. But they've certainly done something right now. And what Rassi and Dean both kind of had a rush of blood to the head when they got out, didn't they?
They did indeed. I mean, Rusty will be irritated by that. You actually have to work quite hard to get your gloves onto a ball going down the leg side. It's one of those dismissals that any no tail lender is ever quick enough with his hands to be able to touch a ball like that. So I do feel for him somewhat. Let me give you the. Can you give me the numbers, Chepo, or would you like me to jump in?
Give me a moment.
Do you have ESPN open? Because that's the trick.
I'll give you the numbers in literally just a second. Rassi van der Dussen got 67 of 127 balls at a strike rate of 52. He stayed in for quite some time, built up to 67. Was hoping to kick on to 3 figures, but we'll take what we can get at the moment. We have Quinton de Kock at the crease now. It's going to be exciting cricket here. A very explosive batsman, and this could prove to be a very interesting partnership with Faf du Plessis and Quinton de Kock.
Yeah,
we also have a tweet from Umpo that says, "Trust Simon to come on and take wickets. 2 in 15 minutes. Hashtag SA versus SL." And then there's a little emoji with the guy doing this.
Absolutely, I'm blaming Simon for this completely.
I took 4 wickets on ball by ball in the second session of yesterday's play, so I think it's very much a possibility that I'm a pre-lunch demon. First ball from Shanaka. There's a half-assed appeal as it wraps the cock on the pad, but I think it was too high and probably going down leg. So no
Definitely
real drama there. We do have some comments coming in on our StreamYard, which I think come from our YouTube feed, Bailey Sports, saying, and again, Rassie is failing to get that elusive international ton. Remember, Misbah ul Haq played over 150 ODIs, but never scored an ODI ton. He got many in tests.
Wait a second. Elusive ODI ton. How many tests has Rassie van der Dussen played? How elusive is the century? If he played like 15 tests, that's one thing, but how many has he played?
Yeah, not too many, I think. Although, let's have a quick look. Because, of course, he's played mostly...
one day international.
Mostly one day. So he's played 5 tests. So, yeah, hardly that elusive.
Yeah,
hardly.
How elusive is that?
Steve Waugh played about 25 tests before he got his first century.
Yeah,
and
you see?
He was a famous centurion. So let's not, please.
Yeah, we shouldn't jump the gun here. It's still early days in this man's career. The 67 was a very well played 67. He's got the ability to do so. So
it was indeed. News from the ground is that Shanaka has just allowed a run off the final ball of his over as Quinton de Kock just worked this around the corner. They jogged through for a single. So the Quinton and Faf show are now off and running. A partnership of 1 so far, 219 for 3.
They showed yesterday, I think it was, a graphic of Rossi's test career so far compared with Jacques Callas's test career at the same stage. And Jacques Callas was averaging 15. Rossi's
15?
averaging 30. Yeah, and in 5 tests, he was only averaging 15. But he wasn't dropped or dumped or anything. So just give him a chance. The guy's doing good.
Yeah, they actually... I saw them do a comparison with Tendulkar as well, which was ripped into by Reddit, thinking like, who the hell is comparing someone to Tendulkar? And Tendulkar had an average of 56 after 6 tests, also sort of not stellar necessarily. First ball of Chimera's 12th over, defended back down the pitch to the bowler by Quinton de Kock and no run.
To be fair, I see what the YouTube comment was saying. Just looking at Rassie van der Dussen's stats, his highest score in tests, 98. Highest score in one-day internationals, also 95. So I retract my statement. It is quite elusive. His ability is there. It's only a matter of time, though. It seems like one of those things. So, yeah, I mean, this average isn't looking too bad either at 32. So, yeah.
But
Chimera in again, driven back to the bowler and no run. Carry
on. Since Simon was talking about the comparison with Tendulkar, we must remember that it took Tendulkar about 40 or so one-day internationals before he scored his first century. And he wound up with 49 one-day international centuries. So let's not take back any statements about Rassie. He's good, okay? Just trust him.
Yeah, he is. I mean, so there. I still have my concerns around Aiden Markham, that I think he might go through a very, very bleak patch at some point and might end up getting dropped. I worry about Vian Mulder's fitness and so on. But Rassie, none of those concerns at all. I'm absolutely certain that he's in for the long haul, and we'll see him bat for South Africa well into his 30s.
Well, how old is he now? 28?
He's 28, 29, I think.
No, he's 30.
No, he's 31. He's 31. So there you are. I'm already
31. Right. Yeah. I was literally about to ask about that. Sachin Tendulkar, when he started his career, how old is he? 20 something?
17.
17. You see,
a bit of a moment here. A ball popped from a length against Quinton de Kock, and I thought for a moment it actually hit the shoulder of his bat and looped to the slips, but it didn't. It went straight up in the air. And if there had been a short leg there, he would have absolutely swallowed that. In fact, I'm surprised the bowler wasn't able to make slightly more of an effort. It hit him on the very, very top of the bat handle. He strangles the bat quite low on the grip, and so there's about 10 centimeters of handle sticking up above his top hand that hit there. But so that could have gone absolutely anywhere. Shamira comes in for the 5th ball of his over, and this time it is driven smartly out into the covers by De Kock, and Wanindu making a nice dive there to affect the stop. South Africa 219 for 3.
Quality fielding by the Sri Lankans there. You can see that their tails are up now after getting those 2 quick wickets. Have 2 fresh batsmen here. And that variable bounce, it looks like it's going to be a challenge, something that these 2 batsmen need to negotiate and get through. But they have the ability, they have the time, and now they just have to have at it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about this was being an opportunity for someone to score 350 when we saw, there's a outside half of the bat here, flies away through a vacant backward point area where sweeper does collect it, and they're going to jog through for a single. I think De Kock will be quite happy to see the back of that over. He didn't look hell of a comfortable through much of that.
He looked more like Kushal Pereira, swinging outside his off stump, a left-handed batsman, taking the edges and laughing at them, just hoping that he doesn't get caught.
Taking edges and laughing at them.
Well,
I love that. He laughs in the face of danger. It's our captain. It's Quinton De Kock.
Yeah.
Quinton De Kock definitely deserves his own Saturday morning cartoon, doesn't he?
Actually, Captain Quinny. I can see it now.
but he has to be mute. He must never say a word.
Yes.
No, that's the best part. Ravi, that's the best part.
Yeah. His only recognition of stress is a quivering of the lower lip and sort of tearing of the eyes. He works this one into the onside, goes through for a single. He gets off strike for a bit, and so he will watch proceedings from the non-striker's end. As Faf du Plessis looks to get off the mark in his innings. Faf is there on 0, Quinny's on 3, and South Africa 221 for 3.
Simon, you said that pace bowlers was viewed as the rugby forwards of the cricket world. I'd say that Quinny, unfortunately, is a forward by accident. He is not the world's greatest intellect, is he? I'm going to have to say this.
You're not wrong. Word from I have a friend who has a brother who was in Quinton De Kock's class when they were at KES together. And the word on the street is he wasn't the brightest bulb in the bag, if you catch my drift. But look, his cricketing brain is fantastic. He might not be getting A's for natural science and physics and whatever, but he's getting A's for clipping it off his pads for 6 runs. Definitely A+.
Yeah, I think it was Neil Manthorpe who described him as a cricketing genius. The last ball, by the way, du Plessis just works it onto the leg side. He's off the mark, and he brings the double Nelson up, 222 for 3. Amy, my daughter Amy and I had an interesting discussion yesterday. We were sticking up a poster of Laura Wolfart that she got for Christmas, and now Laura gave up her medical degree to pursue her cricket career. And Amy asked me, has there ever been a medical doctor, or indeed anyone with a PhD who's played cricket? I'm sure there must have been many, but I couldn't think of any off the top of my head.
I know that Isha Guha, while she was in the England cricket team, got her MSc in neurology and was pursuing a PhD before the IPL came along and took her into the role of commentator. But Isha Guha was a PhD candidate.
Okay, so that's interesting. I know Elise Perry is busy with a master's in I'm not 100% sure what it is, one of the humanities. Incidentally, shorter ball, and Quinton De Kock pulled that in front of his nose out to backwards square, and I think they went through for 1 or 2.
I think there was a time.
So they're off Nelson 223 for 3 as Faf du Plessis leaves one outside the off stump.
The English cricket team had, just like Laura Wolfart, had a lot of women who were master's candidates or master's graduates even, who had master's degrees, and some of them were pursuing PhDs. In the men's team, it's much more difficult to find them, I think, because they get started younger and they go down the cricket track, and then they do university, if they do it at all. just to get the degree and then move on.
And there must have been guys in the 70s and 80s, I'm sure, when it was a semi-amateur game. This Du Plessis gets the outside half of the bat, playing with soft hands down through gully region, and they come through for 3. Du Plessis goes to 4, South Africa to 226.
If you want to talk about that, you should talk about the 20s and 30s with C.B. Fry and other such polymaths in cricket, where there were guys who were...
I mean, C.B. Fry was brilliant at everything, wasn't he? Including
exactly,
siring in some way or the other Stephen Fry. He wasn't a direct male ancestor of Stephen Fry. I think he was an uncle or a great uncle or something like that. But certainly amazing.
I have a list here of pictures on the cricketcounty.com, a list of the most educated cricketers in the game. Just quickly from David,
we're going to have that just after this, as Faf again just drops his bat on this, and it runs away, this time all the way to the boundary. He's going to go to 4, and South Africa 230 in fact, for 3. The lead now by 73 with 7 wickets in hand. Carry on.
Yes, first, just a quick from David Midgie at Gorilla SA rather. Mercifully, there are higher powers that allow me to listen to a fantastic group on 1WSR.com. David, stop it.
Thanks, Dave.
You balls. And a list of cricketers that are very smart. We have W.G. Grace here at the top. He was actually a general physician who practiced quite regularly despite a busy cricket schedule.
Who is that?
The father of cricket.
I'm not getting
You're breaking up. You're breaking up, Tipper. I don't know why.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, try it again.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
W.G. Grace, the father of cricket.
Yes, of course, he was a doctor. Yes.
Was he a doctor? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
general physician.
Yes, Dr. W.G. Grace. Yeah.
Well, when I said doctor, I just assumed that some, Oxford or someone had just conferred a
doctorate. No. W.G. Grace. W.G. Grace was
an honorary doctorate in cricket. Imagine getting that.
Why not? I mean, I would happily confer one on Quinny. That would irritate the world of academia if we gave Quinny a red robe from Wits, left outside the office.
You could give him a doctorate in sports science, and that would be it.
Yeah, well, I know a couple of sports scientists who take themselves very, very seriously as academics, and I think they would be bleak about that. They would it would be a little like conferring one of the cows at the veterinary school with an honorary degree, even if it was the very, very best cow they had.
I've never heard Quinton de Kock described as a cow before, but I'm going to keep that memory with me forever. Quinny the cow.
Quinny the cow. Under this one from Chimera, and it goes harmlessly through to the keeper. No run. South Africa 230 for 3. Okay, so Dr. W.G. Grace, that's a really, really good one, and I'll remind.
That is one.
I mean, I did
this
actually
is one of many people.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I was going to mention that the Proteas have Kirsty Thompson, who's just been asked to join the Proteas camp ahead of the Pakistan tour. She is a practicing medical doctor, and left outside the off stump and no run. But she's already played for the Proteas. But she played for the Proteas before she got her medical degree, and then she went away, got the degree, and now she's coming back, hoping to restart her international career. So that will be a current player with a medical degree.
So
other current players, we have Ravichandra Ashwin. Sorry.
Ravichandra Ashwin?
No, not a medical degree. He has it in engineering.
He's a doctor of engineering.
No, not a doctor.
He's got a bachelor's degree in IT, rather. And he got it from the College of Engineering in Chennai.
There's a world of difference between having a bachelor's in IT and being a doctor of engineering, but yes.
Yeah.
That's true. At least he got a top degree.
Well, for men, I suppose, just getting a degree is an achievement. For the women, they have to get a doctorate to be really recognized. Is this what Amy and you were discussing?
Yes.
Simon?
Well, we weren't specifically discussing the men versus women thing. we were discussing one of the tropes we laugh about is how the two most perfect people in the universe are Elise Perry and Laura Wolfart, and how everything they touch just turns to gold. And we were, we were discussing whether anyone else had been as academically gifted as particularly Laura. But Laura, unfortunately, hasn't been able to continue her medical degree. She will go back to it at some point. But the longer she stays in cricket, the better, as far as I'm concerned. Beginning of the next over, it's right arm around the wickets to Quinton de Kock. I'm assuming this is Shanaka bowling still. I haven't actually seen who it is, but defended into the onside and no run. It is Shanaka indeed.
Perry and Wolfart are both gifted. I was going to say cricketically. No, in terms of cricket, absolutely. And quite clearly, they have academic distinction. But as I pointed out, a lot of the women cricketers have academic distinction in cricket. And I would just quibble with your two most gifted women of the universe, because I think you should add Smriti Mandhana to that, because she also has the gifts. You need to get Amy watching Indian cricket more.
I do indeed, yes. We have been rather Eurocentric with that, and I do apologize. An inside edge that is going to run down to fine leg. That could so easily have clipped the stops at the top of Quinny de Kock's stumps. Bit of luck there for the South African captain early on. He'll take it, and South Africa go, luckily, to 234 for 3.
Okay, I'm going to call Quinny Pereira from now on. Or Kushal de Kock, because he's playing those kinds of strokes. He's not looking settled as such.
Not at all. Yeah, he's really, really looking quite uncomfortable. I think what you probably find is happening, Ravi, is that women cricketers, by the nature of the game, probably have to have gone through private schooling, or at least been from a fairly.
I was trying not to mention that. But yes, it's definitely an elite game for the women cricketers, unfortunately.
So those people are coming, and almost by definition, they're coming from a family that pushes their girls forward, in any aspect of their lives. So I'm really not surprised that the women are exceptional human beings, right across the board.
I was trying not to mention that because it brings up the whole issue of equality in cricket and access to cricket. And the women's game is not necessarily a shining star of access to cricket, equal access to cricket.
One of these days we'll get Amy on to rant about her primary school, where she is still incredibly bitter about the way she personally was treated as a cricketer and girls' cricket in general. And this was from a school that has produced Protea cricketers, and yet was actively sexist against them. Well, there's an outside edge now, and it's carried through to it's from Faf du Plessis. It's outside edge. It's carried through to a rolling de Quella, and he's gone. And Faf had struggled there. I hadn't actually mentioned, while we were raving on about our modern sexist sensibilities, that the ball before had steepled on him and hit him on the bottom glove, and this time it just nibbled away a bit, caught his the outside edge of his bat. Good rolling catch by de Quella. That is the end of Faf du Plessis, and suddenly South Africa have lost 3 quick wickets this morning.
What is amazing is at least 2 of them have come from outside edges where they've got the ball to move after 55 overs, but they've still made it move, which is quite something. It's not reverse swing they're getting. It's seam movement, and it's quite remarkable.
Yeah, just nibbling off the pitch just enough to evade the middle of the bat and just find the edge here. And Sri Lankans are definitely, they've got their tails up there. They had 2 slips ready for Faf du Plessis, and the movement is just proving a bit too much for the batsmen here. But great bowling from the Sri Lankans, really doing very well, really clawing themselves back into this game, 1 wicket at a time. South Africans also still have a lot of batting to do. Can't get too comfortable, can't get too complacent. But quick numbers for Faf du Plessis. He went out for 8 after just 15 balls, bowled by Shanaka, and caught by Dick Weller with the gloves.
Also, it's worth noting that Hasaranga, I think, has so far bowled only 4 overs in this innings. The Sri Lankans don't trust him any more than I do. And they've just trusted to their seamers to keep this going. And whilst they've been wayward at times, they have produced when it matters.
Yeah, they have indeed. I completely agree with you with Hasaranga, and they've got Lasith Embaldinia sitting, in the dressing room, not playing in this game. I was hugely impressed with him before he got injured. The last time he came out to South Africa, he was on debut back then and bowled really, really nicely, and actually held up his ends down at number 10 or 11 in the order as well. So I'm amazed that he hasn't secured a more permanent spot. First ball of this resumption, in fact, it's of the next over. It's a shorter ball and just hooked without any real venom by Quinton de Kock around to a deep square leg. They go through it for a single, and that will bring Themba Bavuma onto strike.
Can you guys excuse me for a minute? I need some more water.
Sure,
off getting dry.
No problem at all. And just having a look at once again at that wickets of Faf du Plessis, it really was a beautiful ball, just seaming away, and there wasn't a hell of a lot that Faf du Plessis could have done about that, I don't think. First ball to Themba Bavuma, he just rocks back and plays it off the back foot through the covers for a very, very well played 4.
Fantastic off the back foot shot, yeah. Big punch, a great way to get off the mark. It looks very nice from the middle of the bat and everything. Hopefully he keeps finding the middle of the bat as the over's gone. We have a tweet here from Terry Bird. Gorilla SA, no, not PhD or medical doctor, but within the Richard Snell was a physiotherapist.
Oh yes, of course he was. He actually he was at Wits while he was playing Proteas. I'd forgotten. I didn't realize. Yeah, he was. He was at that stage in the early 90s where they weren't quite full professionals yet. So all of the guys were getting degrees. Most of them tended to get degrees in like marketing and business science and that sort of thing. So I know Dave Tebrugge, for example, got a BCom round about the same sort of time that he was playing for the Proteas. Richard Snell, of course, became a physio. Did Richard ever practice as a physio? Terry, maybe you could tell us. I'm not 100% sure he did. I think he sort of got it, but went into. I'm pretty sure he's no longer a practicing physio, even if he was initially. Shorter ball from it's actually Vishwa Fernando who's bowling now, and Quinton had a bit of a flash at that bottom edge, and it went on the bounce to the pillar. De Kock is not looking comfortable at all. 10 runs of 18.
Not at all. Not finding the middle of the bat. That quivering lower lip that you're talking about, and those big wide eyes that don't look quite settled. They're all over his face. And the thing about Quinton de Kock now, as this ball goes through to Dick Weller for no run, the thing about Quinton de Kock, whenever there is a lull in performance or a bit of a dip, a question always has to be asked: does the captain's armband have anything to do with this? And I want to put that question to you guys. Do you think that the captain's armband has put pressure on Quinton de Kock? Unnecessary pressure?
It should be.
Said no. He said in an interview yesterday, didn't he, that no, that doesn't affect him at all.
He wouldn't say it was if it did.
Everyone would say that, yeah.
But I think he's out of an edge here, and it's caught at second slip, a diving second slip. I didn't see who that was. Looks like Anita Fernando took it. No. It's one of the Kusals. Always struggling to remember.
Steffo has done his Quinton dance. Quinton gets out dance.
I'm just doing this like it's what I'm saying. It's literally I'm asking about the man, and he's proven me right. It's just sad. I hate when this happens.
Kusal Mendes taking that catch. Quinton pushed it with hard hands, got an outside edge, good double-handed catch to his left by Kusal Mendes at second slip. That is the end of Quinton de Kock. and he never looked in. Got lots of edges on both sides of his bat, and eventually holding out to second slip.
I'm going to call that his Crystal Pereira innings. It could have worked, but it didn't.
At least get the start of 50 or 60. So
will you give us his numbers, please, Chapel?
We have Quinton de Kock. He went out for 10 after 20 balls, bowled by Vishwa Fernando and caught by Kusal Mendes in second.
I'm hearing children in the background. Who's
they're not mine, so I'm assuming that they are Chapel's. Or do you have children?
No, they're not children. They're just hardy dogs. They're just hardy.
Lovely.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, yeah, we've got hardy dogs for my children.
Yes, but my kids, I see them every day.
Indian subcontinent. Or do you just have the sacred ibises, Ravi?
No, we don't have ibises in India, really, much.
Not even the black-headed ones with white body?
No. Yeah. Well, certainly not in Bombay.
Right.
We have miners, which they've been showing on the field from time
Indian
to time.
Miners.
Yeah.
Miners is an Indian word, for goodness sake.
Yes, well,
sorry, what?
So in fact, they used to be called the Indian miner here in South Africa. That's been changed to the common miner, so you'll be pleased to know.
We don't call them Indian miners anymore.
No, we call them the common miner. Yeah.
Okay. You learn
Simon alerted me to the fact that they are actually starlings in that group. But there are two very common miners in India, and one of them is the one that you have as well. So it's called the common miner. But they're astonishing birds. So yeah.
They are indeed. They're very, very bright. And if they weren't such in South Africa, I think I'd be a lot more sort of happy with them. Just to give you an idea of where we are now, 241 for 5. Bavuma's there on 5. Mulder's just arrived on 0. He hasn't even faced a ball yet as Bavuma just defends this into the onside from Shanaka, no run. But South Africa when I arrived, we were on 210 for 1. So there's been a clatter of wickets through the latter half of this first session of day 2.
Something about your ball by ball, Simon. Something about your ball.
It's Simon's fault. Simon's fault. That's all. Hashtag Simon's fault.
It always does seem to be.
Hashtag Simon's fault. You have a few tweets coming in. Let me just, they all came in all at once. David Midgie says that Matthew Street is a doctor, if I'm not mistaken, and he's a former player. And yes, there's a doctor, Matthew Street. I just think that is a fact.
In and out again, Shepo.
Say again?
So you were breaking up again. Give us that whole tweet again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, Matthew Street is a doctor, if I'm not mistaken, and also a former player, and that is from David Midgie. And he also says, I'm not a fan of taking so many bloody sticks. Sort it out, Gorilla SA, hashtag SA versus Sri Lanka. I'm also not a fan, and I have to see it live. I have to watch Simon speak and wickets being taken. It's not an enjoyable time, I must say. Actually, I'm having a great time. It's weird. It's strange.
I'm quite a fan of low-scoring tests generally. I do find them far more entertaining, but they do tend to be over in 3 days, and then you've got 2 days of nothing to do. A good, solid, defensive by Temba Bavuma to bring that over to an end, 241 for 5.
I'm glad that this test is proceeding quickly because the England versus Australia starts on the 7th, and that is must-see cricket for me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be phenomenal.
So
that's quite the series there as well. I must say, the first test won very convincingly by the Australians. Then India came back, looked fantastic in the second test, and now it's neck and neck. 2 tests left. Definitely, I would call, if it were a book, it would be a page turner. But it's a cricket game, so yeah,
absolutely. Will we see the return of David Warner, even though he's not fully fit? All sorts of questions to be asked.
Well, there certainly are rumours that Joe Burns has already been dropped, defended into the onside and no run. That's the first.
If David Warner and Matthew Wade open, Matthew Wade, he's a wicket keeper for goodness sakes, but he's become
Matthew
Australia's go-to opener. He's become Australia's go-to opener.
It was a very, very interesting selection because they selected him on attitude more than anything else.
Interesting.
When you heard Tim Payne being interviewed about it, his primary justification was that Matthew Wade is the sort of guy who won't say no if we ask him to. Which was probably
okay, that's a little bit sus. What questions are we asking the young man?
Not so young, is he, Matthew Wade? How old is Matthew Wade?
I think Matthew Wade quite correctly has sussed that Tim Payne is not going to be going anywhere soon, and if he wants to play for Australia, he must do, even if they ask him to open the bowling, he's going to put his arm up.
Yeah. He's got to do it because
Fernando is worked off the hips by Mulder, and Mulder is going to get off his mark, so he goes through to 1, and South Africa to 242 for 5.
We have a few tweets here.
Yeah, let's catch up on tweets, please.
Quite a few here. From Terry Bird, he says, "Sorry, last tweet was incomplete. I meant Richard trained in the medical field. Wikipedia, the oracle of all knowledge, says he worked for the family business, and he has a Wikipedia link. Thank you for that, Terry Bird. We also have the Armchair
podcast. Terry Bird himself, a PhD in environmental science, if that's.
Oh, sorry, Terry.
Yeah, no, you can actually see she's in her red robe there in the
in the Twitter picture. Oh wow! Congratulations! Oh, that's very nice. Armchair podcast is making things happen in the first section of #Day3, as they've been taken.
Breaking up again.
Yeah, we're going to give you a bit of a break there, Chepo, while I just give us back some ball by ball, defended into the offside by Temba Bavuma, and so South Africa stays at 242 for 5. Bavuma's there on 5, Mulder on 1, and Vishwa Fernando, the bowler at the moment, 1 ball shy of his 16th over. He's taken 1 for 62. Right, give it another bash.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, Simon, why you bother with the ball by ball. Why do you want the cricket interrupting this interesting conversation we're having?
Well, literally only because his feed is breaking up. Maybe we need to sponsor him a decent service provider. This is down the leg side. It would have been called a wide in ODIs, but not. And that is the end of that over 242 for 5.
Okay, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm quickly going to restart my connection. I'll be back.
Okay, cool bananas.
No, you've only got 10 minutes to go. Yeah,
okay. Only 10 minutes.
3 minutes.
Oh, no need. Yes. No, I'll restart it later. Thanks,
okay,
Ravi.
You're starting fine, so let's see if we can get some tweets in the meantime.
Okay, shots. So I could making things happen in the first session of day 3. They've South Africa's top and middle order.
Yeah, this isn't working.
A handy 80+ lead. They have not put this one beyond Sri Lanka. Timber and the rest of the together. Wait, Timber and the rest of the together, and SA's lead to 150+.
Okay, so I'm afraid we didn't get any of that. So Chepo, I'm going to let you go and reset your.
You better restart.
Yeah, I'll handle tweets in the interim. And we'll let Ravi just jump in whenever he's able to. So Armchair Cricket Podcast had said Sri Lanka making things happen in the first session of day 3 as they have taken out the SA top and middle order. Although the current middle order batsmen who are batting, Bavuma and Mulder, might disagree with that analysis. Those SA have a handy 80-run lead. They have not put this one beyond Sri Lanka. Temba and the rest of this batting order together must take SA's lead to 150+. Which I think is probably very, very realistic. I'd be surprised if they didn't manage to get that lead up there. Otto Simon saying, indeed, #Simon's fault, blaming me for the catcher of wickets in the last hour. Straight a ball by Shanaka, just turned around the corner. This is going to run away down to the fine leg boundary. And Mulder now joins Temba Bavuma on 5 runs, 246 for 5.
Does he? 5 runs.
What happened there? Oh, maybe it was called leg by. I think that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah. They're
sorry,
still on 3.
Okay, well, that was Irritating for Mulder. It definitely looked like it came off his back to me, but given his leg buys by Marais Erasmus, this time it is driven through the offside. He is going to come back for 2 here, and that will take him to the 3 that Ravi perspicaciously suggested.
Perspicaciously, absolutely. I spent a long time in the first session predicting what the results of the DRS reviews would be, because I could see it 10 seconds before Otto, and he was doing the ball by ball, and he just thought I was very, very clever. No, that was outside leg stump. No, that was oh yes, it came off the glove. Ravi, you were right.
So Terry Burgess, in response to us talking about what a brilliant individual she is, says, "Stop now, I'm blushing." Well, you're one of the dedicated listeners to us, Terry, and that ranks far higher than your PhD in my mind. Kyle says, with Rassie going to his 5th, this is a previous tweet that's been retweeted to us by David Midgley, but with Rassie going to his 50, it is surely only minutes before SuperSport TV compare him to Donald Bradman.
SuperSport, for instance, one thing that has disappointed me this morning about the TV coverage is they've showed the batsman's fours. I mean, it's cricket and you like to see fours, but they've not shown the bowlers and how they have done, how each individual bowler has sprayed it around or kept it close. So you don't actually get a sense of the match if you're watching these clips, because you're only seeing the batsman. You're not seeing the bowlers. And it should be a bit of both, really.
Well, I mean, SuperSport used to do a horrendous thing. Back in the 90s, when we were first back in international cricket, they would show highlights, but only South African highlights. So you would see 10 opposition wickets, and then you would see, 50 South African boundaries, and then 10 opposition wickets. It was the most, even in games we lost, it was the most ridiculous possible way of doing highlights. Luckily, I mean, that only lasted a couple of months before I think someone took someone else aside and explained gently how cricket actually works. But it was quite ridiculous. Dave Ridley also saying South African wickets falling at the Wanderers this morning when Simon Gary's on air. Hashtag Simon's fault. Hashtag Simon is to blame. Hashtag Simon's table so good. Hashtag Simon says. Yeah, we haven't got the Simon tables up. You never saw it. Did you ever see a picture of my run rate table?
I didn't have to see a picture of it. I knew how they would go because I agreed with you completely. They're only relevant for white ball cricket, but for white ball cricket, they're absolutely necessary. Talking about run rate in terms of per 100 balls is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, absolutely, completely.
Over.
This is precisely why I like you so much, Ravi. That you agree with me on all of these things. Oh, I've just realized that we're supposed to let Chepo back into the feed, but we hadn't done so. Sorry, mate. I always forget that it's actually up to me to keep those sort of things running. Shorter ball by Björn Mulder. Ooh, that popped up a little bit. And if there had been a short leg, that could have been an opportunity. And this, I'm going to say, is poor captaincy by Sri Lanka, because they have a leg gully. So they were clearly planning on bowling that line to Björn Mulder, and yet they didn't have a short leg. And surely those two positions go together like, I don't know, ham and cheese.
Right. Well, the thing is, Sri Lanka, we must not fall into the trap of trying to think of them as a naive team. They are as much cricket professionals as South Africa. They have nous, if that's an English word, but they know what they're doing as well. It's just that it's not working out for them, which is quite different. So they set their traps too, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. I just feel that was maybe a trap that was half set. And in fact, they've got a very interesting position for Temba Bavuma, which I'll tell you as he plays it into the offside and scampers through, so he releases himself from the trap. But they, while Björn Mulder's leg gully was in a sort of conventional leg gully or almost a leg slip. The man in the same position for Temba Bavuma was very square. He was almost a short backward square leg. Does that make sense? Sort of on the corner of the square there, which is I'm not even sure that's an angle I've ever seen before. So there's clearly a lot of thought going on between these two. But I just feel if you're trying to bowl to a leg gully, then there's a very, very good chance you're going to have a ball go to short square leg as well. And I would like to see both in there. This one is defended into the onside by Bjorn Mulder. There is actually a short mid-wicket for Bjorn Mulder as well. So clearly both of these batsmen are identified as guys who can hit catches into the onside by the Sri Lankans.
Also, it might be Otto's favourite thing, the tall batsman and the short batsman, and they might be varying it just a little bit for each of them. Because Otto feels that the tall and short batsman is the new left-handed, right-handed combination.
That's a really interesting idea. I've never even heard that sort of analysed before. What is it? What is his thinking behind it?
His thinking behind it is the short batsman, Temba, is going to play back-foot strokes like nobody's business, cross-batted back-foot strokes, whereas the taller batsman is going to play back-foot strokes with a straight bat.
Okay, so we need Temba batting with Cameron Green or Carl Jamison or KP, one of those sort of guys. Yeah.
They'd be completely different field set for them, even though they're both right-handed.
That's a really, really good analysis. Well done, Otto. As Temba again just drops this into the offside and bustles through, to use a heightist phrase. And he goes through to 7. Mulder is on 3, and South Africa 252 for 5.
Shepo, are you with us at all?
No, he's not. I think he's muted.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Very, very softly, mate. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there.
Yeah.
Forward defensive by Bjorn Mulder. 3 balls remaining before lunch, and his mindset will be entirely that he's just there to survive till lunch, go and have some cucumber sandwiches, and come back refreshed at 20-1.
Well, Mulder wants to certainly make his mark as a batsman as well. Obviously, he's made his mark as a bowler in this series so far. He's been fantastic. I mentioned Vern Philander last time we were on air together, and you absolutely refuted it. You said he's not like Vern at all. But he's playing the same role in the team right now as...
I totally agree he's playing the same role. Yeah, I just think he's a slightly different sort of a player. I think he's a better batsman than Vern.
Well, we shall see. He'll have to prove it, won't he?
Yeah. No, he hasn't got the numbers to back him up yet. Oh, he has a bit of a slash at that, which, mate, with 2 balls to go till lunch, if he had got an outside edge there and that had flown to second slip, he would have walked in the opposite direction away from the dressing rooms and just gotten a taxi and gone straight home, I suspect, because he would not be at all.
No, those are nerves, quite clearly. Why he's slashing at balls so close to lunch is problematic. He obviously doesn't feel comfortable yet.
Yeah, it's concerning to see. I mean, a guy who's played a lot. Well, this beautiful way to finish up the session. He just drives the ball back through the line. That was a completely safe shot to play. Just a full face of the bat, an on drive that went away for 4. So he finishes on 7. Temba Bavuma also on 7, and South Africa will go to lunch on 256 for 5. A very, very good session for Sri Lanka. I think if they had been offered 4 wickets this morning with their breakfast cornflakes, they totally would have taken it. So they will be very, very happy. Ravi, thank you so much for your service this morning. We love having you on, and for you to have taken the double hours this morning certainly helps us get going a lot. You enjoy the rest of your day, mate.
Thank you. Well, I'll be enjoying it with this match, of course, and following you guys. So, well, if I can, my laptop, as I said, is screwed, so I don't know how I'll follow you, but I will. Anyway, it's been wonderful. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Shepo.
Excellent. Thank you.
See you later.
Yes, we will indeed. And Chepo, Not sure what the hell you've done to your microphone, mate, but thank you very much for your service as well. We will see everybody after the lunch break. Cheers.